Oh yeah, I forgot about the part where I have to add us back. Too busy retweeting the show. Well, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the DFS Tailgate. We are back, all three strong, ready to talk some plays that are going to win you some money this weekend. We've got Underdog. We've got Monkey Knife Fight. We've got DraftKings. We've got promo codes to get you some free money if you're not an Underdog or Monkey Knife Fight. We've got tons to get to this morning, guys. Should we just get right on into it?
Might as well.
Well, first, just real quick, how's everybody doing this morning? You guys, Connor's over there at a bar.
My head feels like I'm in a bar.
Dude, how do I look?
Terrible.
Oh, man. My wife's birthday party bus last night, there were like 40 of us on it. And I think the entire town of Sioux Falls knows we had a good time. Like we tore it up.
Maybe I'm just spitballing here, but maybe with your history on the show, you should just buy your own party bus.
That's a good idea.
Invest in a party bus because it seems like they're getting all your money.
Yeah. No, them and draft. So if we hit this week, first purchase, party bus.
Party bus. Awesome.
I'm coming to South Dakota.
Yeah,
I think we're all coming to South Dakota. We'll do our next show on your party bus.
I'll fly you boys out here. We'll just cruise around town, drinking in the party bus, doing our show.
That sounds like fun. A special 3-hour live party bus show. Sounds perfect.
Nobody wants to watch that, right?
Nobody. All right, guys, let's get down to it. So our first sponsor we're going to talk about here today, we have Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't played on Underdog, you need to get to it. They've got awesome weekly contests. They've got pick'em prop stacks, NHL, NBA, NFL. They've got it all. 100% deposit match up to $100 if you use the promo code IBT. If you've never played with them before, great way to get started. Some great fun. And now let's get into our first segment, Underdog Story. So I guess thanks to Connor, we've got a mantra this week about how we're feeling about all our picks. No regrets, folks. No regrets. We're gonna try and give you some. Not even one letter.
Dude, my wife is gonna fucking kill me.
Hey, I mean, you're still in year one. You're still in that grace period where all these things are gonna come crashing back to you in a couple of years. Whenever all the gloss wears off, this is all gonna just hit you at once. So just enjoy it while you got it right now.
I want to reiterate though, she was in the pre-show lobby. You boys know that I outkicked my coverage, and you're not helping the situation.
I never disagreed with that, Connor. You know that. You know I did too.
That was Tom Tupa level outkicking.
Oh man. All right, so we've got Underdog. We're going to talk some pick'em. The pick'em contest on Underdog is awesome. You stack 5 over-unders for the week. You can win up to 20 times what you put in. I generally put about $5 in, looking to win 100 on the week. So here's what I've got. I've got a few this week. My first is Rashad Bateman, and I know Lamar Jackson is out. That's fine because they're still going to throw the ball to somebody. It's going to be Mark Andrews, and it's going to be Rashad Bateman. 53.5 yards. I'm taking the over on 53.5 yards for Rashad Bateman today. What do you guys think?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I love Bateman. I'm as high on Bateman as anybody else, but it's an Andrews game, and it's back to the Greg Roman style offense where I don't think they target wide receivers whatsoever in this game. They're going to try to keep the ball control, field position battle in front of them. Huntley's even more of a run-centric quarterback than Lamar Jackson at this stage. Lamar Jackson's really advanced as a passer. Huntley never has started an NFL game, so he's going to be just your scrambling quarterback. I think I'd be surprised if he attempted 20 passes in this game, mostly to his backs and to Andrews. I just don't see a lot of meat on this bone for that prop to make me feel good about it, even though it's not a very high number.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I can't necessarily disagree with you, Connor.
I was just going to say I'm kind of with Bo, but maybe a little more aggressive on either direction. Like I think it's either way short of that or it absolutely blasts that out of the water. And I kind of like Bateman more as a DFS play this week, to be honest.
Fair enough. All right, so my second one, we've got David Montgomery, 84.5 rushing and receiving yards. They are up against Baltimore. I'm taking the over on that. I mean, I feel like I think that's fairly simple. I don't think it's even a question.
Way over.
All right, so my next one, we've got Myles Gaskin at 69.5 rushing and receiving yards. Noise. I'm smashing the over on that one. That's not even
150 of those.
Oh yeah, easy. It's a Myles Gaskin week, and they're up against the Jets. Of all teams, they're up against the Jets.
So guess how many fantasy points per game the Jets allow to running backs each week?
It's a lot.
39.
Yes.
A million? Is that an option? Was a million?
1 million points.
Average of 39 points to the running back. That's insanity.
That's insanity.
That's 10 points more than second worst. So Myles Gaskin's not a good player. That's why this prop is so low. It is an odd numbered week. He is he's inconsistently consistent. Like every odd numbered week, he's doing double digits because every odd week, apparently the Dolphins play defenses that refuse to cover Myles Gaskin in the flat. So all of his touchdowns come where he runs a little swing route and nobody covers him. And so if he catches it, he just walks in for a touchdown. He doesn't have very good hands, so he does drop a couple of those, but it's insane how much upside Myles Gaskin has in this game. And the floor is pretty good too, because they're going to be, I think they're going to lead this game pretty easily. The Jets are terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have him as a captain in a showdown this week. We'll get to that a little bit later though. All right. So my next one, we've got Mark Ingram, 63.5 rushing yards against Philly. I've taken the over on that one.
Who?
Mark Ingram.
Yeah, it's a decent line. I'm okay with Ingram because of volume alone. I think he's going to be the picture of inefficiency that he has been.
Oh, of course.
The only thing that worries me with Ingram this week is they activated Tony Jones off the IR, and he did look really good in the preseason before he got hurt. Kamara being out, it was great for Ingram last week because there was nobody else. There was literally nobody else that could run the football.
Right.
But now that Tony Jones is there, we might see a little bit of a split in action, especially with the workload Ingram put forth at his advanced age last week.
Of what, 30?
30 with a ton of mileage.
Yeah, that's true. I had a ton of mileage at 32, so I get it.
And the inefficiency part is the part that's concerning, right? Is it like if he is as ineffective as he was, then I mean, I don't know. I'm not in love with that number. I could see that going south real quick.
I think he's going to score a touchdown, though. So it's not.
I hope so.
It has nothing to do with the prop, but yeah.
No, exactly. I don't hate him in DFS, right? But like as far as a yardage prop goes, like I'm iffy on that one.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to my final one. I think I'm assuming we can all agree on this one. We've got Jonathan Taylor over under 115.5 rushing and receiving yards. Taking the under against Buffalo. See, I'm taking the over on that one.
He's not even going to crack 100 total yards against Buffalo.
Ooh, spicy.
I'll tell you what, when he cracks 100, you send me a free bottle of your hot sauce.
Sure.
All right.
Oh,
I need some new Amigo.
Yeah, this is a classic Nyheim Hines game because I do think Buffalo destroys the Colts. The Colts don't match up with the Bills at all. We've seen the Colts do well against very bad defenses. Jonathan Taylor is an amazing player. He's my dynasty running back one. I mean, it's really hard to argue against that at this stage with what he's done this season. However, The Buffalo Bills are number one against running backs. They're number one against quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
They're number one against wide receivers. They're number one against tight ends. They are death to offenses that run like the Colts do, where Carson Wentz, those 2 or 3 boneheaded, idiotic plays that he makes every single game, regardless of who he's playing, it's going to be upgraded to 7 or 8 of those plays. And I think it's going to be shutout watch, because I think that Carson Wentz is going to commit more turnovers than the Colts score touchdowns.
I mean,
so
yeah.
It's going to be Hines. Hines is going to be the only guy I'm going to touch on that Colts side of the ball, because they're going to be 30 points down by halftime.
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, well, I guess we'll see. I don't know about that, but wow. All right. So we're kind of split here today on the picks that I came up with.
Yeah.
But hey, that's all right, man.
I can run through mine really quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hey, they can't all be winners, bro.
No.
Oh yeah, no, of course not.
And looking at my track record with the props on Underdog, maybe we should be listening to Nate a little bit more.
Hey, dude, I'm running not on Underdog, but I'm 2 weeks in a row on MKF. So
yeah, you'll get your chance to shine. Come on now. All right, I got Brandon Cooks over 5.5 receptions. He's going to get 11, 12 targets in this game. Jalen Waddle over 64.5 receiving yards. He hit that last week without any volume, which is amazing. He's going to go right back into that volume role this week against the Jets, who can't cover anybody. Jonathan Taylor under 96.5 rushing and receiving yards. There it is. You guys can disagree all you want, but this is risk it for the biscuit. I'm taking an under. It's going to be on JT. My beloved JT this week is going to get shut down. And then Nick Chubb over 94.5 rushing yards. He might go for 203 touchdowns today. I think Nick Chubb might crack 40 points on DFS purposes this week. And then finish it up with the easiest one of all time, Christian McCaffrey over 125.5 rushing and receiving. He's going to have that by halftime.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, obviously, I'd argue. But other than that, like, I'm with you on everything that you said. Those are good picks. Good picks. All right, guys. So I think that kind of rounds out our Underdog. Just a real quick last-minute reminder. When you sign up with the code IBT, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That is a great deal, guys. So go on over, do some pick'ems. Take Bo's advice. Take my advice. Don't yell at us if we're wrong. This is all a guessing game. We're trying as hard as we can.
You can yell at me. I don't care. I'm wrong so many times that I'll just take it. And when I'm right, I will mercilessly victory lap. You know this. Because when I'm wrong, I'll be like, yeah, I suck. I mean, what do you expect? You're taking advice from an idiot. And then when I'm right, I'm going to take all the victory laps, and it's going to be loud and obnoxious. So yeah, you're gonna have to take it for what it is.
Insufferable.
It feels a lot like I'm the one taking victory laps on you most of the time. Just saying.
Especially on the player props.
All right, guys, let's head on to our next segment, Knife to a Gunfight. All right. Well, folks, if you're not familiar with Monkey Knife Fight, we are. Bo is. Connor is. It's a great platform. It's different. You know, we like things that get us away from the typical DraftKings sometimes. A little bit of a change. Sign up for Monkey Knife Fight with the promo code IBT. Get a free $5 game and 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Get over there right now. Listen to what Bo has to say. Listen to what Connor has to say. Play some games, win some money. Have a great Sunday. All right, let's get into it. Bo, what do you got for us today?
So I'm going to leave this up to Connor because he's the Monkey Knife Fight guru, and then I'm just going to mercilessly disagree with him. So go ahead.
All right.
This is all about Connor today. Connor is the Monkey Knife Fight guy.
All right, Connor, let's hear it.
All right. So kind of sticking. I've been doing 4 for 4, 5 for 5 type rapid fires. So they're basically head-to-heads. And the game that I'm targeting actually is probably one of the harder ones to predict. But I'm looking at Dallas and KC. We're doing a little 5-legger. $5 wins you 100. Pretty good payout there. So the first matchup I'm looking at is Dak over Mahomes. They're giving Dak an extra 9.5 yards. And I know I kind of alluded to in our lobby talking about how I think it's going to be a Zeke day. I also think that Dallas is going to shut down Mahomes a little bit. Like, I hate to say it, I'm sitting in a Chiefs bar. I'm probably going to get punched for saying it, but I just don't see a path to Mahomes really shining today. Like, I think it's going to be tougher than people think.
Me too. I'm same. I think last week, everybody's like, they're back. Look what they did last week against Vegas. That doesn't mean anything, man. It was 1 week.
So I have mixed emotions about this because to a degree, I do agree with you because the Chiefs are not back. They played 3 straight opponents with laughable offenses. I mean, the best offense they faced was a Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. So the last 3 weeks don't mean anything when the Raiders had to have just completely not watched film all week long coming up to that game because the last 2 games before the Chiefs started rolling, it was cover 2 shell, and that was the whole story. Cover 2 shell, man up on Kelsey and Tyreek, drop the safeties way back deep. Don't let them crack the shell. And the Raiders said, oh, so if we go cover 2 shell, the Chiefs are probably only going to score 21 to 24 points on us. Nah, let's go cover 3. Mahomes only sees our cover 3 twice a year for the last 5 years. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's the most moronic game plan I've ever seen. The Raiders defensive coordinator, their head coach, Bisaccia, bless his heart for being the interim to that mess of a team. But what are you thinking, dude? Cover 3 against Patrick Mahomes has never worked. And that's one thing that concerns me about the Cowboys is Dan Quinn, although he has been very multiple with his defensive looks, their base defense is cover 3. And Trayvon Diggs doesn't shadow. He stays on the right side of the defensive formation. He mans up or he drops back into the cover 3. And he's basically a center fielder. He's a wide receiver that plays defense. And he's very aggressive. He reads the quarterback's eyes. So, yes, I can see the path where Mahomes is going to turn the ball over 2 or 3 times. I also see the path where Mahomes throws for another 400 yards like he did last week. And we're talking about, oh, he's not back because he's still turning it over and maybe crippling his team and costing them the game. But for fantasy purposes, what they can do to this Cowboys defense scares me a little bit.
Okay, but and I'll move on to the next one right after this. But here's the thing, right, is I don't see a situation where Dak doesn't outperform Mahomes yardage-wise. Like, if it's a shootout, Dak's still going to have more yards. If it's ground and pound, Dak's still going to have more yards.
Of course.
And so I think that's why this becomes a safe thing. I'm totally with you. I can see a path where Mahomes absolutely crushes the Cowboys. I can see the opposite, right? But I like this one because 10 yards is nothing, right? So they're basically calling it a pick 'em. Yeah. And so I just don't see a situation where Dak doesn't outperform Mahomes yardage wise either way.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the whole game in general. Has me stressed to the max. It's still 3.5 hours away, and I'm just like this game has got me amped up for all the right reasons, but like it's got me on edge because that's the biggest game the Cowboys have had in years.
Absolutely, dude. And like, to be honest, I can't wait to watch it. But like we talked about in the pre-show lobby too, like, I'm not super amped to play this game in DFS, especially, and we'll get to that, because I can just see it flopping too. I can see it being a very competitive game, not churning out the point volume that people think it's going to. So anyways, and I on the flip side, because I know you're gonna roast me for it. On the flip side, I could see this game blowing away the 55.5 implied total. So like, I get it. Anyways, moving down, we'll get to the next leg here. So I've got Zeke over Pollard rushing yards. They are giving Pollard 32.5, but here's the thing. If I'm going to stick with my narrative that I think this is a Zeke game, I think they ground and pound with Zeke a little bit. Like, I don't. Essentially, Pollard's got to get to like 50 yards for him to outproduce Zeke, right? 32.5 is a number they're hanging out there, and I think it's to scare people off of it. So I'm going to roll with Zeke on that one.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because Pollard, for what they've been using him for since week 1, where he was in a 50-50 split, against the Bucks. I don't see this as a similar game because the Chiefs can't stop the run like the Bucks can. This might be more similar to the Chargers game where we see Pollard in there a little bit more often than his swing role, just to be the perimeter, like just the game breaker. Like, Zeke pounding up the middles is making them make business decisions. It really softens the defense, but where they can attack Kansas City's on the perimeter with Pollard's speed and quickness, and he's one of the best at breaking tackles in open space in the whole league. I just don't see the game flowing that way. I think that if anything, like you said, Dak Prescott is going to be using that play action game off of the Zeke power running, and they're going to be trying to take the top off this defense because this defense is getting roasted down the field, mostly Daniel Sorensen. You find 49 on the field, he's that bad. And the weapons that Dallas has, even without Amari Cooper, Dak can find 49 on the field pretty easily. Where's Sorensen? We're going after him with some of the best talent in the whole league. There's going to be some fireworks, and usually Pollard's only in blowout games. I don't think this is going to be a blowout game. So last week was just kind of an aberration where Pollard got all the work in the fourth quarter because they were up by 40.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, man, like I said, and this is gonna be the hill I die on this week. I just don't think this game scores as high as people think it does. Like I really I think it's gonna be kind of a letdown in terms of the high intensity point scoring shootout that people think it is. I'm probably dead wrong, but
Probably,
but
especially with the pace that both of these teams play with, we're gonna have so many plays run that I just can't. I think it's inevitable. This game is 60 plus total.
I'm telling you, man. I sit through Chiefs games every single week, and I just don't think Mahomes is razor sharp right now. I think it leads to turnovers. I think Dak is playing better. I think that ends up being they get up and they just try and milk it as best they can, because when Mahomes is down, that's dangerous. And I think they're gonna play safe once they get up. At least I would hope. Moving on to the last couple legs, we got some time to get to DFS, so we can give some people time to set the rosters. I've got Tyreek Hill over Lamb. They're giving Lamb 6.5 yards. Again, going with my narrative, I just don't think Lamb is as involved this week.
Yep.
Dalton Schultz over Kelsey. This is receptions. They're giving Dalton Schultz an extra 2.5 receptions over Kelsey. I like that a lot. That's probably the one I'm most confident in.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with Cooper out. Schultz, Gallup won't cut into Schultz this week. So,
and even with Cooper on the field, there's a lot of times where Schultz is the number 2 receiving option in a particular route tree. And so the game plan without Cooper, I think you're onto something there, because Schultz is very reliable. He's not very good. He's not a very good athlete. He's pretty terrible in open space, but he's kind of that Witten guy that just always seems to be wide open, and you can't explain it because it's just a big, slow guy that's just kind of turning around and nobody covers him ever. But I like it because we have a guy that Dak really trusts, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
And hey, I mean, to your point, not a great athlete, whatever, right? I mean, but all I give a shit about is if he puts 2 hands on the ball. That's all I care about.
Yep.
It could be a 1 yard gain every time. I don't care.
Getting that catch.
And I think if you look at Kelsey over the course of the season so far, I mean, you're wavering somewhere between 5 and 8 receptions a game, which is a lot. But when you're giving Dalton Schultz an extra 3, I mean, in my mind, that means he's only got to catch 4 balls, 3-4 balls, which I think is a foregone conclusion, really. So, and then my last leg, and then we'll get over to DFS. I've got Gallup over Hardman. Again, this is receptions. They are. They're giving Hardman 0.5. Whatever. You could give Hardman 3.
Easiest pick of all time.
Yeah,
seriously, they're just handing that one to you.
Hardman already relinquished most of his snaps to Byron Pringle, so that's like I would even take Gallup over Pringle.
Yes.
So with it over Hardman, you're like, oh, okay, thanks for the free money, guys.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, and that the funny thing was, man, and that's why I let in the way I did, is I was looking at this game as I was going through all the Monkey Knife Fight props, and I was like, this is one not a lot of people are going to want to touch, but really the picks I've laid out, like I feel really good about all 5 of them. Like it doesn't matter. They're independent of game score. Like I think no matter what way this game goes, all these are relatively safe in my mind. So
yeah,
and I'm not getting much pushback from you guys, so I must be on to something.
You're on to something, man. I love it. Great picks. All right, guys, real quick before we move on, just remind you, if you want to play Monkey Knife Fight, you've never done it before, sign up with the promo code IBT, get a free $5 game, 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Put in $100. How often do you get a free $100? Like almost never. Almost never.
Just the first time.
Just the first time. All right, guys. So we're going to move on to King of the Crop.
Coming to King, we best not miss.
All right. We've got some DraftKings for you. I'm actually playing DraftKings this week for the first time this season. Woo! I decided it was time. So here we are. Bo, what do you got for us, buddy?
So I tweeted this out at Wednesday or maybe even Thursday morning. I was building lineups on Monday night when the pricing came out Monday. I was already building lineups because I wanted to get a head start. Just seeing what I could do, what I could build, what I could piece together with the salaries that are on the board. This week, the chalk is going to smash. So all those popular players that we're looking at going, man, 20, 30% ownership, rostership, it's going to be like you're going to want to cringe a little bit because everybody else is going to have the same guys. But if you piece 2 or 3 really chalky guys together and they all hit, it doesn't matter. So don't be afraid to get chalky this week. They're all going to smash. Don't be afraid to spend up at running back this week because just like last week, the value running backs were the story. Like you had multiple guys under 5,000 that you could piece in there, and regardless of chalk, they hit. And then you could spend up at wide receiver, and most of those guys hit, and that was the way to win last week. This week, it's the opposite. This week, I think you can spend up at running back and save a lot of money on wide receiver because there's so many running backs at the that are clumped in that $5,000-$6,000 range that I don't want to miss out on. But they're kind of overpriced because GK was like, okay, all these guys that are going to get a lot of playing time, we can't have them under 5,000 because then you're missing guys like Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, all these guys that are going to crush this week. But we have these top tier running backs are all going to just go berserk. So play the studs, play the chalk. It'll pay off. It won't matter how many people have them because if you have the most points at the end of the day, you win.
Is that how this works? Okay. So I am doing it.
DFS is just picking the guys who score the most points on Sunday.
Okay, good. Okay, so I am doing it right. Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's not a golf situation here. We're not going for low score. That's the other show.
Okay. I got it. Yeah, I mean, like I love what you said, Bo, because I actually now I'm looking at my lineups. I did that in a couple. I've got Chubb, Mixon, and then McCaffrey and Chubb in another. Dak Prescott's my quarterback in both of those. But then I've got guys like Jameson Crowder, I think, with Joe Flacco in today. I see Crowder having a big day. I think he stands to benefit more than any other receiver for the Jets against Miami. I think Rashad Bateman is a smash play. He's a guy I've got in both. I like Michael Gallup a lot this week, as we've kind of talked about.
I mean, if you're going to go dumpster diving or going down the salary, I mean, why not play Cam? I mean, if you're trying to, honestly, I feel way more confident about Cam than I do about Joe Flacco.
Well, sure. I'm not starting Joe Flacco.
No, not in season long, obviously. But when I'm just saying as a leverage play in DFS, and it's not a leverage play really because he's going to be chalky as all get out because he's $5,100. But the likelihood that Cam gives us 20 plus DFS points, I mean, I think it's pretty solid, right? And at 5,100, that balances really well. It assures us the ability to put in like CMC or Chubb or any of these guys, Jonathan Taylor, if you think he's going to smash. Bo doesn't, right. But so I'm just saying, like, give me a floor with Cam of call it 20 points, right? I think that's pretty safe versus Joe Flacco, who may throw you for sub 10 points. I mean, look at what Matt Ryan's done to us in DFS for the last 2 weeks in a row, right?
Yep.
So you're not saving enough money with Flacco to make that a good play in my mind. I get what you're saying. If Flacco and Crowder go off, then you're way different. Like it's a good GPP lineup.
Flacco, he's just playing Crowder.
Yeah, I'm playing Crowder. I'm not playing Flacco. No way am I playing Flacco. Okay, so here's a question for you: Jalen Hurts or Cam Newton?
Cam. You're gonna get the same point total from both of them, and you got a huge price difference. So that's
I can't pay $1,700 more for Jalen Hurts. Objectively, I think Jalen Hurts is the better play, but that's a lot of coin to spend for what I think in my head equates to maybe 3 or 4 extra DFS points.
Okay, so let's say I get rid of Hurts here. I go with, wow, what just happened? Yep, okay, we're good. So yeah, I just pivoted to Cam. Might as well give it a shot here.
Well, now take a look at your running backs, right? And with that extra $1,700, what's that get you up to? That's got to at least stack 2 of the top tier, no problem.
Yeah, I shouldn't have a problem with that. Nope. No, the best I can do here is, well, but I like DeAndre Swift against Cleveland. No, I don't. I don't like that at all. All right, anyways.
If you're in that range, go with James Conner. James Conner 6,100 is one of my favorite plays on the board.
Agreed.
Insane volume, especially a PPR. He's going to score a touchdown. It's a foregone conclusion. James Conner is going to score a touchdown. I've already retracted. I called him a terrible running back. He's playing better than he has since he was a rookie. So I'm fully back on board with James Conner as I play this week, especially even with Kyler Murray out. They just pound the rock now. They're saying, hey, what's the point in putting Colt McCoy on a pedestal? We have a guy who's going to break tackles.
I don't think that you should retract that statement. I do think James Conner is not great. However, they are using him better. He is like scoring some points. I think it's one of those grab your nose and pinch type of deals with James Conner. Like I see the upside with it. I mean, I think the elephant in the room this week is definitely AJ Dillon at the same price range against another team I watch week in, week out. I mean, all the signs are there. He's checking every box. It's Minnesota. Like, he is going to be the absolute chalk of the week, I think.
30% is what we're seeing.
But here's the thing, right? Like, chalk isn't always bad. Like, people always are talking about, oh, you fade the chalk, do this, do that, right? If the
you
chalk,
fade bad chalk.
Yeah, yes. if the chalk's going to hit, you play the chalk. Like, you're not.
Yeah. Like we said, you play the guys who are going to score the most points.
Yeah, like I laugh about it all the time because I don't know if you guys listen to Pat Mayo much, but he does play the best plays lineup, and he doesn't give a shit about what the chalk is, what the ownership percentage is. They just play the good plays, and I think people get too galaxy brained on DFS all the time, trying to be sneaky and cute and all that. Just play good plays. Dillon at $6,200 against the Vikings is a good play.
You might not know this about me, but I'm terrible at being cute.
What are you talking about? You're adorable, Bo. You're so cute. Yeah, even that face is cute. You guys are both muted, by the way.
I wasn't saying anything. So.
Yeah, I wasn't talking, man. Looks deliver more birds sometimes.
All right, so one thing I want to get to here, Myles Gaskin.
Play him.
Showdown captain?
No, I think that's a bold move, but I would play him.
Okay. Yeah.
Because here's
Waddle is a better captain.
You think Waddle the captain?
I actually think the Miami defense is a good captain in that game. No, hear me out though, right? Because you start with 10 points, right? So you're starting with 1.5 multiplier and 10 points. Okay. If that game is sloppy as all get out, I think there's going to be turnovers. I think there's going to be some gross play. Like I just don't. The deal with Gaskin, the deal with Waddle, the deal with Gasecki in a captain spot, you're not guaranteed any of them are getting the ball. Like that, it's Russian roulette with that game, and I'm not touching it DFS at all. Like, because you can't predict it. it's like trying to predict what the backfield in New England or San Francisco is going to do. Like, it's just it's a fool's errand to try and predict what Miami's going to do this week. I personally. But that being said, if you're going to play that showdown, I like the defense. I like the defense to captain. I like putting Gaskin. I like putting Gaskin in, and you can even get Waddle in if you start with the defense because it's cheap.
Meh.
Fair enough.
Meh.
So wait, but we're all in agreement here. Waddle should be the captain. At least we have that.
I'm going to completely disregard defense in the captain spot because other than this last Thursday with the Patriots, who actually are a good defense, unlike the Dolphins, against a terrible Falcons offense, that was the right play to put them in the captain. But that's the only time it's happened this season where the optimal captain was the defense. So don't do that.
Right. You're right, bro. I'll
don't do
out.
that. But don't
go win some money. I'll see you.
Yeah. Don't do that with the defense that's getting gashed every week by everybody against an offense that it's the Jets, but their defense is the worst part about the Jets. The offense has skill. They have 3 or 4 good receivers. They have a good running back. Flacco is serviceable. He's not going to make big plays, but he's also not going to turn the ball over as much as Mike White and Zach Wilson will.
Right.
Especially against the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins defense is terrible, guys. It's awful.
It is terrible.
You're
awful defenses.
Dude, you're mishearing me. What I'm saying is I think the game is going to be sloppy and gross. I think mistakes are going to be made. I feel confident that you're going to get 15 points out of one of the defenses. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I'd rather gamble on Miami.
You're going to lose to the guy who picks the right captain in a skill position who scores 25 and has 40 in their captain spot and has the defense with 10 points in their flex and they score 20 more points.
No. Your point's well taken, but what I'm saying is if I start the defense, I'm not saying that this is a strategy that you should do in all of your lineups. I'm just saying it's a strategy that allows you to build a way more balanced roster through the middle and not have to play somebody who's like $200. Like if you put Gaskin in the captain spot, you're sentencing yourself to death at the bottom of that roster because you're gonna have to buy somebody at $1,500.
I'll meet you in the middle. I'll meet you in the middle, Cough. Nate, if you want to get cheap at captain and have the upside to actually win this thing, play Salvon Ahmed at captain.
That's not a bad play.
They're cheaper than the Dolphins defense, and the Jets can't stop running backs. And Salvon Ahmed's actually better than Myles Gaskin. He just doesn't get as much work.
All right, hey, let's do a quick 3-minute drill here. Like what I did there. We got 3 minutes to get us to 45. What game do we want to stack this week? What do you guys think? What's the best stackable game this week?
I'm stacking Prescott with Gallup and Schultz a couple places.
I have a lot of that, but I'm actually going to stack the Minnesota Green Bay game because I think the Packers are going to absolutely destroy Minnesota. I'm going to do the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. I'm going to have some Green Bay defense alongside AJ Dillon. And I'm also going to run it back. If I'm running back with any Vikings, it's the standard Dalvin Cook or Justin Jefferson. I'm not touching the Vikings other than that because I have bad matchups for the Vikings offensive players, but they have obviously 2 of the best players in the league that can always go off against anybody. So if I'm running it back, I'm running it back with one of those 2 amazing players for the Vikings. But I think Green Bay is going to win this game easily. And Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big game. Devontae Adams is going to have a big game. And A.J. Dillon is going to get so much work that it's inevitable he's going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I wanted to let you say it because the guy who says always stack the Vikings game. I didn't want to say that this week.
Well, stacking against the Vikings defense always pays.
I will. The other one I'll throw out there, and it's high dollar, so I think it's going to be less popular, even though they're great plays. I think the Buffalo Indiana game, and I'm still against you, Bo. Like I think you run it back with JT, but I think you roll out Josh Allen and Diggs. Last week was an uptick. I think there's a good connection going into this week, and I think they're just going to crush Indy. But I do think that Indianapolis is going to have a hard time getting it going, and I think they're going to default to Naeem Hines and Jonathan Taylor. And so I think that's your good run back. And you just kind of cross your fingers that JT breaks off, a big run or something here and there, which, Buffalo's good D, but they're not infallible. So I think it's a possibility.
It's always possible. This was the conflict I had all week trying to build the stacks, because it's pretty clear that the Buffalo isn't a top 3 optimal stack. It's pretty clear. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and then Dawson Knox if you want to get fancy with a double stack. That's one of the top stacks. It's going to be up there as far as points scored, and it's great to build around. The struggle I had was whether or not to run it back with any Colts against such a great defense. And if anybody, it would be Pittman or JT or even Hines if I'm running out of salary. But it's just like this game is going to be so ugly for the Colts, because I think Carson Wentz might turn the ball over 5-6 times. It's going to be that ugly. The Bills defense, if I'm going crazy, I'm stacking onslaught. I'm going Diggs, Allen, and the Bills defense against the Colts.
I love it. All right, guys.
Yeah, we hit it.
We hit it. It's 10:45. We need to give people 15 minutes to set their lineups. I have about 35 to get through in the next 15 minutes. I did it to myself. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the DFS Tailgate with Bo and with Connor. Make sure to check out. Ooh, I'm on Dividerain. I finished my coffee. Make sure to check out our partners, Monkey Knife Fight, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code IBT to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Everybody, good luck this Sunday. Have a great weekend. Don't take it too seriously. It's still football, and we are out.
Cheers.